Hello, welcome to English class. We are going to talk about the narrative poem. It is due today. Our learning target. Today I am defining and explaining what a narrative poem is so that I can understand the characteristics of a narrative poem. I know I got it if I can write proper narrative poetry with the proper elements. So first, you can take a moment to pause this video and think about what you remember about narrative poetry and narrative poems. When you're ready, go ahead and hit play. So narrative poems, they are a story. They have a narrator. It's told from their point of view. Now that narrator could be the main character, could be a secondary character, or simply an observer to tell us what's going on. Since it's a story, it also contains many of those narrative elements found in other types of fiction, including setting, characterization, plot, conflict, tone, dialogue, and symbolism. And because it has a plot, a narrative poem also has rising action, climax, and the resolution. And since it's a poem, often it should have some type of rhythm or repeated accent, often using rhyme and meter, but it doesn't have to, because poetry, it depends on the type of poem you're doing. You could, follow the rules or not. So I have an example here. My teacher took my iPod, written by Kenn Nesbitt. I have the audio for this linked to our parking lot links for April, as well as under the description for this video. So you can pause the video here and click on it from our lesson and listen to this poem. When you are ready, go ahead and hit play and come on back and we will continue to discuss it. All right, welcome back. This is a narrative poem. So what is the point of view of this poem? Is it first, second, or third person point of view? So take a look. Pause if you need to. If you said first person point of view, you are correct. So yes, we have the my, I, I'd, all these first person point of view type of pronouns. So thinking about this poem, so who is the narrator? Because we saw that it does have one. Does it rhyme? What is the setting of this poem? Give an example of conflict in the poem and explain the plot. Rising action, climax, and resolution. So you can pause this video and answer those questions. When you're ready, you can hit play and we will discuss. Okay, so looking at this poem, that yes, there's a narrator. It is one of the students in the class. Yes, it rhymes. If we look at the poem, we see that the second and fourth lines of each stanza rhyme with each other. Rule, school, day, play, while, smile, tap, rap, okay, day. Absolutely. An example, she takes it every day. So we have that issue with the teacher taking that iPod. First, it seemed like the issue was the student having the iPod, but now it seems like the actual issue is that the student is now losing it to the teacher every day. Our plot here in this narrative poem, a student gets caught bringing their iPod to class. The teacher takes it due to the rules, but then uses it and likes it. So then the teacher then encourages that student to bring it every day so she can listen to it and use it herself. Let me know if you have any questions. You can always call, email, or text if you have questions or concerns. Otherwise, we're going to move on and talk about your own narrative poem assignment. Okay, so talking about your own narrative poem for 1.11, you're writing your own poem, your own original poem. I don't want to see anyone else's poem. I want to see yours. So with that, it should have all the elements of a narrative structure and sequence. Should have rising action, protagonist conflict, climax, falling action, resolution. Have that sensory language to help add depth to the poem. Think of your five senses. You have sight, touch, taste, feel, hear. Figurative language, using metaphors, simile, allusion, irony, pun, symbols, conditional mood verbs, if, could, would, uh, that can help add meaning. So one way, if you're struggling with coming up with a topic, is to maybe think about your short story from first semester and maybe try to turn some of that into a narrative poem. So first thing you got to do is definitely choose that topic. Pick a story you really want to tell, even if you can't explain why. It could be something that happened to you or a friend or a loved one, or it could be something that's completely fictional. Please make sure you keep it school appropriate. The next thing to think about is make your voice heard. If the narrator in your poem is experiencing a particular emotion, make sure that comes through in the words and the tone that you choose. You can skip the build-up when it comes to poetry. Narrative poems don't really waste words introducing characters or explaining the scene. Most of them just dive right in. So you can try starting your poem in the middle of the action to bring your readers immediately into the heart of your story. Excuse me. Sweat the small stuff. So the best narrative poems often use precise descriptive words that bring out a story's details and paint that rich picture. We want to have whatever you're picturing in your mind, we want to be able to describe it so well that your readers will picture the same thing. So again, think of those five senses. Use adjectives that help describe what the world looks, sounds, smells, tastes, feels like as that story unfolds, so that way the readers are experiencing it just like you are imagining it. And since it's poetry, it's okay to repeat yourself. This is especially a good strategy if your narrative poem is long. So you can repeat some key words or phrases, maybe emotional or musical a few times throughout the poem. We get that rhythm going with our rhyme and that meter. So here is a look at that graphic organizer. If you'd like to use this to help sort out your ideas, you know, even on a piece of paper, you could put down just these different elements and try to list them out. See how it might fit and work for your own poem. Here is another look at that narrative poem, what we need to have. That clear narrative sequence, think beginning, middle, and end, sensory language, figurative language, verb in a conditional mood, and it should be your own original poem, and it shouldn't be anything that you've already written or turned into any other class or grade, because we want to use our 8th grade writing skills that we've learned this year. Here are a couple more examples of narrative poems. You can pause this video to read them, check them out if you'd like. When you're ready, you can hit play to continue. All right, and if you have any questions, make sure you're reaching out to me. Call, text, email, but make sure you're completing lesson 111 on your plan. Submit that narrative poem that you are writing today to the 111 Dropbox. Complete any other lessons listed on your plan today, and complete anything overdue, missing, or 0 graded. So check out any feedback, help yourself out, help those grades out, and again, reach out to me with any questions. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you all later. Take care, everyone.